Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Jennifer Turner, and I have Stacy Nichols with me.
Good morning.
Okay, I am going to share my dashboard here, so just bear with me 1 second while I talk myself through it. Okay, so we can see the John Doe dashboard, I'm hoping.
Yes.
Great. So during the presentation, Stacy and I are going to walk you through the dashboard for Exceed and talk about some of the different training solutions. And during the presentation, please feel free to chat any questions in the chat box that come up. We can always slow down or revisit something. And then at the end of the presentation, we only hope to take about 20 minutes or so and give you guys some time to ask questions. We can go ahead and unmute people in the audience if you feel more comfortable speaking rather than just chatting a question. So it is just the top of the hour, and we'll go ahead and get started just to be mindful of everybody's time. Again, please feel free to chat questions at any time, and Stacy and I will be monitoring that chat. So this is our Exceed dashboard here, and you can see we have it pulled up for John Doe, and John Doe is our agency manager. And this is going to be important when we get down to the reporting section in the dashboard features, because as John Doe being the manager, the agency owner, he is going to be at the top of the hierarchy and have access to his employees' scores and progress throughout Exceed. So Exceed is a unique training solution that was developed initially for the newly licensed insurance professional. And with Exceed, we were trying to target the newly licensed, the new to insurance, because a lot of times we've seen people come in, they're taking their licensing exams, they're studying and they're cramming this information in. And once they pass their licensing exam, they've forgotten everything they've learned, and they're in their role at their new company trying to meet with clients and trying to discuss coverage, and yet they have no personal experience to draw from, and they're not quite sure how to apply the content that they've learned. And so that is where Exceed comes in. And currently, Exceed consists of series and reinforcements. So I'm going to click here, view all, so we can take a look at all of the 18 P&C series that comprise Exceed. It is a mix of both commercial lines and personal lines content. And you can see here the different series that we have. And each series is comprised of episodes, and they lay the foundation for that particular line of business. And each of the episodes consists of knowledge checks to check understanding as the user goes through the content. And that is something that is going to be visible to the user. And then again, if it is in that hierarchy, it is going to be visible to the user's manager. You'll see here there are some green progress bars under many of these series, and that is just indicating for John Doe how far he has progressed through that particular series. You can see some he's gotten quite a bit of the way through, and some have nothing, like farm property, he's not made any progress, and so you have a blank progress bar and the 0%. I'm gonna go ahead and click here on our business owners series. I just want to show everybody how each of the series are the same. When you go into any series, you're going to see how many episodes there are, and business owners does have 15, which was our goal when we started creating Exceed. Some of the series have less episodes, some have more, just depending on the meatiness of that content. So we have our 15 episodes here, and it looks like John Doe is 13% of the way through. And we can see that these green check marks indicate the episodes that he has completed. If there is a gray check mark, that means he's either not started or not yet completed it all the way through. Based on the title of each series, you can see what type of content will be covered within that episode. And then also there's a runtime for each episode. And again, we were aiming for that 12 to 15 minute mark. We want these to be short. We want these to be something that a user can incorporate into their day, and it's not taking up too much time. We do have some customers who tell us they like to use it and have new employees or employees who are trying to learn a new line of business start at episode 1 and work their way through. And we have other customers who say that they like to have, use the episodes as a way to review a specific topic, to prepare for a meeting, or to prepare for a training session. And we're just going to take a minute here to go ahead and look at Exceed here, one of the episodes.
Jen, if you can pause for one moment, we have a hand raised. If you would like to chat your question, that would be the easiest way to get it addressed now, and then we can unmute you when we're done with the presentation if you'd like to ask something, verbally rather than written.
All right. Yes, please go ahead and feel free to chat any of your questions. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to start at the beginning of this episode, and we're just going to watch a little bit of it. So we don't want to resume where we left off. We want to go back to the beginning.
I'm Roman, and on this episode of Exceed City, I'm going to walk you through business income and extra expense coverage that helps insured businesses stay in business. Additional coverages in the property section of the business owner's policy, or BOP, offer business income and extra expense coverage for loss resulting from a covered direct damage loss. If there's a partial or complete stop to the business or untenantability of part or all of the described premises during a period of restoration, the insured's business owner's actual loss of income is covered. No dollar limit and no coinsurance provision apply. However, there is a 12-month maximum on the insured's loss recovery, and ordinary payroll coverage is limited to 60 days. Coverage also applies to loss suffered for up to 30 days after repairs to all property, except finished stock, are complete. The 30-day indemnity period extension can be increased. And lastly, the business income additional coverage is provided in addition to the limits of insurance. However, a 72-hour deductible applies. Get Roman with Roman. The Del Toro China Shop is open 7 days a week, but due to a small electrical fire, it was closed 2 weeks for repairs. The declarations of Del Toro China Shop's ISO BOP indicate that the business has $400,000 of building coverage and $500,000 of business personal property coverage. The average net income on a typical day is $4,000. Which of the following statements concerning Del Toro's claim for lost income is true?
Okay, so we can go ahead and I'm just going to select choice A, and it's incorrect. So that's okay. I know I got it wrong, but I know what the correct answer is and why. And one thing we did with Exceed was whether the user answers correctly or incorrectly, they're going to know what the correct answer is and why. So they're going to get that same feedback, that same remediation, regardless of a right or wrong answer. So I do see some questions that have come through the chat, and Stacy's trying to answer them, but just in case you're not following along with the chat, one of the questions is about purchasing a series and asking about users and if this is per user. Yes, each user is has their own access. So if you have 5 people, that would be 5 users, and each of the accesses is good for 1 year. And the reason that we do that is we want you to be able to go back and review the content. If you have a question that comes up throughout the year, going back and being able to review that content is really going to help solidify that knowledge. We know that repetition is the key to retention. We do also, I see a list here of I'm getting all tongue-tied, a question asking about all of the different series. And yes, we do have that available in our catalog. So you'll be able to see each of the titles for the personal lines and commercial line series available. Okay, before I X out of here, I also want to point out, this is what is common also to each of the episodes. We have a menu and it's going to show what is covered within each episode as well as where the knowledge checks occur. This episode you see has 6 knowledge checks. Some will have more or less. We do have 3 knowledge checks as the minimum. So depending again on the content and what type of content is being covered is going to determine how many knowledge checks are going to be within that episode. But you will have at least 3 knowledge checks. I hope you guys noticed that as we're going through it, the content is engaging, it's interactive. There are interactions throughout the content to keep the user engaged and focused on what they're learning. And then also with each of the knowledge checks, that's an engagement that's going to help them recall the information that they just learned and apply that information to that particular question. We also have a transcript available in each of the episodes for those of you who like to follow along and read what's being said at the same time. So I'm going to close out of this. Are there any questions about any of the series or episodes, or do you have a particular interest and you'd like me to open up one of the different series to see? Okay, I'm not seeing any chats come in, so I'm going to keep going. I do want to talk about the reinforcements. The reinforcements are really a unique product, and what they are is they really focus on micro learning. They are 2 to 3 minutes, and they are delivered to your inbox twice a week. They cover one specific objective, and they are also available for 2 weeks at a time. So you will always have access to 4 reinforcements on your dashboard, and you can see here these are John Doe's 4 reinforcements. And tomorrow is Thursday, so tomorrow he's going to get an email first thing in the morning with a link to his new reinforcement, and his homeowner's additional insured reinforcement is going to drop off, and a new one is going to appear over here on the right. Now, we get a lot of questions about this, but the reasoning behind this is we want you interacting with the content. When you get that content delivered to you, we want you going in, we want to create that sense of urgency. We want you watching it and interacting with it as many times as you'd like over that 2-week period. If we save them all up and watch them all at once, then we're not getting that specific focus on that single objective. So you will have access to 4 reinforcements at one time, and you can have a mix of personal and commercial lines, or you can have just commercial lines or just personal lines if that's what you choose. So I'm going to go ahead and just open up the most recent CGL product liability reinforcement here. All of the reinforcements start with a game, a brain teaser, something to get you thinking and engaged. And they do all focus on one learning objective.
Hello. Are you ready for today's challenge? Let's see if you can put the days of the week in alphabetical order before time runs out. You only have 15 seconds. Can you beat the buzzer? Ready? Let's go.
Alphabetical order here.
I hope that wasn't too challenging. Let's move on and talk about something that could potentially present a challenge to your clients, a product's liability claim. When a store sells a product that injures someone or damages their property, they have a product's liability exposure. For example, if a gourmet cooking store stocks a supply of locally made jams, and a customer who purchases...
Okay, I am going to stop it there just in the interest of time. I just wanted to show everybody, that opening game, which of course, under pressure didn't do so well on, but you're always going to have something there to get you engaged. Focus on the content. There will be an application-based knowledge check, and the reinforcement is always going to end with a call to action. Something for you to focus on that day, whether it's reviewing a specific endorsement or reaching out to certain clients to talk about a specific coverage feature. So we really hear that our customers like to use this as a way to start their meetings, have everybody on the team watch it, and then go ahead and discuss it. because it is creating that shared knowledge base and providing that foundation for everybody to have the same
Let's look at one
information.
more example of a potential product slide.
So we're gonna X out of that. And before I flip this over to Stacy, I do want to talk about our Exam Prep Plus product. This is one of our newer products, and you can see John Doe has Exam Prep Plus for adjusters, and that is more of, so we could test out the product once it was, you know, customer available. We like to make sure that everything's working well. But we do offer Exam Prep Plus for PNC licensing, for life, health, and life and health, as well as adjuster. And what that does is it combines WebCE's well-known and trusted exam prep product with our Exceed reinforcements. So as the user is going along and studying for their exam, they are getting reinforcements that are giving them reminders and refreshers about the content they're studying. And we've had really good feedback from our customers about this product, saying that they're able to see you know, a better passage rate when they have their people taking their licensing exam. Okay, so that is just one of the newer products that we have, Exam Prep Plus, the combination of our Exam Prep plus our reinforcements. And I see a question about Exam Prep Plus included. Exam Prep Plus is a standalone product, and you purchase it, and it is for 90 days, the time frame for getting through all the content in order to take the exam. And the reinforcements also continue for that 90 days, reinforcing the topics that are covered. All right, and we're going to scroll down here to our My Report section. And here's our leaderboard and reports, which Stacy is going to cover. So I'm going to flip this over to her. Just give me 1 second. Okay, change presenter. There you go, Stacy. You should have control now.
All right, love that control. Okay, so can you see my dashboard?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I am also logged in here as John Doe, and as Jen had noted earlier, we have John Doe set up as an agency owner. He has 3 associates who worked for him, Kenny, Jane, and Elmer. And what's a nice feature about this leaderboard is that if you have 3 or more people in a group, you could set up the leaderboard, which can have somebody at the top of the hierarchy. In this case, it's John Doe, so he has the view of what's going on with his team. This can also be good for, you know, having a trainer at the top with the trainees falling underneath, or a hiring manager and, you know, the new hires. And there can be multiple levels to the hierarchy, with whoever is at the top having the largest, most complete view of the user base. So this is John Doe's dashboard still, and there are 3 visuals here at the bottom. So the first one is series progress, and for him is 22%. And what that is 22% of is of those 18 PNC series that he currently subscribes to. So out of that content, he has completed 22% of it. So he knows that for the rest of his year-long subscription, he still has, 78% left to consume over the course of that year. And of course, you know, with the year-long subscription, you could go back and forth and as many times as you like to view the content. The average score is in the middle. This is showing his average score for what he has completed is a 68. Might be a little embarrassing as agency owner, but it also shows the group score for those on his team as far as what they have completed. And that flips over into this leaderboard. So it's a ranking system of how people are doing on the content. Now, an important thing to note here is that since I am logged in as John Doe, he can see everybody who falls beneath him. If I were to log in as Elmer, Jane, or Kenny, I'm not going to see John Doe on the leaderboard. He's protected, so he won't know that he only has a 68%. So they will only be able to see their counterparts, and it creates a little sense of competition. So we do have users who use this product just to, you know, have a little competition within the agency. So these are just some quick hit visuals, but I do want to show you a report that people have found very useful, and that's under the My Reports section here on the left. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And we currently have 4 reports available. One of them is that leaderboard, but the one I want to show you in particular is the series scores and progress. So this is the one that is most commonly used by everyone who is, our users. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this. And this is going to give you the highest level of what's going on with the particular series and your associates who are taking it. So there is a little cheat sheet here that is downloadable, a PDF to walk you through the process of how to use these reporting screens. But they do have the instructions right here numbered for you. So it's telling us that we can select one series and then click the users tab. So I'm just going to click CGL. And then click users right here as it's telling me to do. And here is where you can pick which hierarchy you want to look at. And because I'm John Doe, I'm at the top, so I'm just going to go ahead and pick my own hierarchy here. And what it's going to do is list all of the users in that hierarchy right here on the right-hand side. So we'll see the 4 people, including him, on his team. And I can select 1 or more users. So I'm just going to go ahead and select everybody so we can see what the whole team is doing with CGL. And then click the display button. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And this is the most popular report for a reason. It's going to give us the most information, and it is exportable. So I'll show you that feature as well. But as it's generating this report, what it's going to do is show us where everybody is throughout the series. So we have our 4 people, and we have a color-coded chart. So if an episode is complete, start to finish, all those knowledge checks done, it's going to generate this green box with a percentage, and that is their score. Yellow means that the episode has been opened but not completed. It might have just been opened and closed, or it might just been halfway done maybe. And then anything that is white has not been opened yet. What we can also see here is the title of the series that we're running the report on, how many episodes there are, and CGL has 19. It's one of our longest. It gives us a score average for each person and the percentage of their progress through the series. So that's a lot of information in just one little report. I do want to note one thing about the scores. The first time that the user goes through the content, that is a score that is always going to be logged here. So even if they go back 10 times after this and take it again, this score is going to stick. And that is by design, because if you think about maybe like a new hire group and they go through it, you want to know how people are doing. You want to know what their knowledge base is so that you know where to focus your attention on their training and development. If I know that I can go in here and make sure that I figure out what all the correct answers are and make sure I get 100% on everything, it's not going to tell anybody what I really know or don't know. And we want to make sure that we're getting everybody the best kickstart to their career. So here is a nice screenshot of this, and we have the exportable option here to either CSV or Excel. I'm going to go ahead and just download it for Excel here and export it just to show you that it's a nice clean version right here. And it actually, when you export it, it will tell you what the title of each of those episodes are right here at the top. It's the same color code, same information, but as we know and love with Excel, you can hide yourself and bring this to your team meeting and say, all right, let's talk about progress. We also have some customers who will start off their team meetings by saying, okay, we had you all complete this particular series or this episode. Let's talk about it. It can be good for one-on-ones and for just employee development. And Exceeds, it can be used, if we have people who start out maybe in personal lines and they want to branch out into commercial lines. And Exceeds a great way to get your feet wet and start learning the basics of a new line of business as part of your professional development. So that is how we are seeing people use it right now. There is one more thing I do want to share with you today, though, and I know we're getting close on time here, but we do have a new program, and it's called Exceed Onboard. So many agencies who are, maybe a little bit smaller, may not have their own training department or a formal onboarding process, or you may have something in place and you want to enhance it with something a little bit different, like Exceed. So we developed Exceed Onboard to meet this business need. And what it is we will lay out, as you see right here, an onboarding calendar with some Exceed content. In this case, it's commercial auto, CGL, and the business owner's policy. And we will tell you what to complete each day, how long it's going to take you approximately to do that. And that way, as part of that onboarding process, you know exactly how much time you're going to be spending on this particular type of content, and you know what you can spend the rest of your day doing, whether it's HR stuff, whether it's ride-alongs, a client visit. You'll know that, okay, on the first day, I'm going to spend 30 minutes going through some of the Exceed content on these particular topics. So it gives you a nice schedule to do that. We reserved Fridays for reviewing and rewatching episodes to make sure you can go back and really solidify that information in your head. But what the Exceed Onboard program also provides you with are tests on each of these packages. And we also give you discussion questions. So sometimes things come up that are a little unique. Certain business situations will come up, and you're not going to know that unless you've had that kind of exposure. So we want to get people thinking about different things that could happen, or different things that people may need to be aware of with their policies. And it opens up that dialogue between the new hire and their trainer or their manager, because we want to make sure everyone's really getting the most they can out of the content. So this is just a picture of one that has 3 different planners in it. I have one here that this is for homeowners and personal auto. So you can see it's a little bit lighter on the content, a little bit less time per day because it's just the 2 lines of business. And we picked 5 planners initially to create, and they're based on the most common topics, the common lines of business that people start out with as a new producer. So you'll find things for homeowners, personal auto, commercial auto, CGL, and BOP as being probably the most common topics that people are covering. And I believe miscellaneous vehicles is also in one of those. So people, with campers and things of that nature, that can't necessarily be insured properly under a homeowner's or a personal auto. So we do have 5 planners available, and these just go through our sales department to get you hooked up with all of this. And everyone is provided with the schedule, with access to the test, and obviously the content in Exceed. Are there any questions about Exceed Onboard or about the reporting that I went through? Does anybody want to be unmuted?
Any questions at all? We are happy to revisit anything we've gone over or answer any new questions that come up. If you think of anything after the call, you can always go ahead and send us an email. We are always here to answer your questions and help out. And yes, you will be receiving an email thanking you for your time today. And in that email, there will also be a 30% coupon for your purchase of Exceed. But we can go ahead and also, for those of you who would like it, we do have a couple of promotional flyers that we can go ahead and forward to you as well. Okay, well, thank you so much, everybody.
All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for joining us.